This video was brought to you by Stormberg, a better route planner, MisterGreen, Kempower and Marcus Bil. Yo, what's up? Today we're going to talk about the Mercedes EQS, which is a proper luxury car. And today I'm sitting in another luxury car, which is the Hongqi EHS9. But okay, so you know the Mercedes has this eco charge option, just like the fat Taycan or the regular Taycan. And then what is this option? Well, let me just roll the tape and I can start explaining. You see, the eco charge will limit the charging power versus when we are charging the regular setting. And also Taycan has the same thing, but there's slightly different because you see that in EQS it will normally go at 200 kilowatt, but then when in eco charge it goes to only 100 kilowatt, whereas Taycan limits it to 200 kilowatt on the eco charge, and then regularly it can go up to 260 kilowatt. But see, the difference here is that at least for the EQS, eco charge there goes flat at 100 kilowatt, just super flat, really flat, like Kansas, like a pancake. Actually, Kansas is even flatter than a pancake. But as for Taycan, you see that, okay, it did peak at 200 kilowatt briefly, but then it goes slower. And what the heck is this thing, by the way? Yeah, it is to conserve the battery life. So then you can ask yourself, well, so if you conserve battery life by using this eco charge option, is it really a good idea to charge it on regular speed in the first place, or are we killing the battery? Are you frying the battery? That one I don't really know, but you can see again. What should I explain some more here? Okay, by the way, one observation is that voltage is higher when you go at higher power. So we see that the voltage on the regular ones to the right will be higher than the one to the left. But of course, the right session also has higher state of charge. But if you actually compare them state of charge wise directly, you will see that that's how it works. So yes, for the case of EQS, you see that it charges a lot slower there. You see 50% on the regular one, but only 32% on the slow one, or the eco charge. Whereas on Taycan though, I feel like the difference is smaller. Yeah, Taycan is already quite aggressive. 260 kilowatt is even a smaller battery than the EQS, but it goes at higher speed. And is this because of 800 volt architecture? Well, one thing you will notice is that if you actually watch this video, you have to skip a little bit back and forth, is that the energy delivered from the charger, you see the kilowatt hour on top there. If Taycan charges to 90%, I don't remember how much it was on the regular one, versus when we have eco charge, it actually spends a lot less kilowatt hour on the eco charge versus the fast charging session. It's 5% higher consumption on the regular versus eco. But for the EQS case, if you then also look at 90% there, that's only 1 kilowatt hour difference, and that means only roughly 1% difference roughly. So for some reason the eco charge in the EQS is actually more eco than the Taycan. And then why the heck is a Taycan so aggressive? Or I mean, why does it spend so much? I think it's doing something similar to Tesla, is that to achieve the best speed, because 200 kilowatt even in eco charge is quite high, right? It will actually actively heat up the battery during the regular session, but then it reaches a point where it has to cool down quite aggressively just to achieve the best charging speed. Same is what Tesla is doing. And also I could see that on the regular session on Taycan, the battery becomes quite hot, over 50 degrees Celsius, whereas in the eco charge it was around 40 degrees or something, or I don't remember the exact numbers. That could be the case, but I suspect that in the EQS, where we don't have any info about the battery temperature, I suspect that the EQS is not so aggressive in the first place when you just charge it at 200 kilowatt on the regular session on the right. And then maybe battery temperature, okay, might be lower. I suspect it's lower in the eco charge, but yeah, what else should I say now? Okay, so now the Taycans, they have reached 90%. They are actually charging faster as a smaller battery, of course, and higher charging speed. But also when it comes to time, to my big surprise, then if you want to charge to 90%, which is kind of common because it charges quite fast anyway, then the regular versus eco charge, there is not much difference there in time, in percentage. I don't remember the exact numbers. I think it was just, yeah, it was quite small. That was my point. I wonder if it was 5% difference only, or something really small. But in the case of EQS, well, okay, the EQS, the regular one, hit 90% now, and then it will take a long time before the EcoCharge reaches 90%. But there, in the EQS, it's 40% slower with the EcoCharge. And you see that, okay, normally you hit 90% after 40 minutes, which is, I guess, acceptable. It's a freaking big battery. But then it will take a lot longer. Was it almost an hour in the EcoCharge? So, I mean, which setting should you use then? Well, I guess if you don't want to fry the battery too often, then you should use the EcoCharge, but then it will charge a lot slower. But in the Taycan's case, to me, it sounds like actually in Taycan's case, you want to use the EcoCharge pretty much all the time, because you spend so much extra energy heating up and cooling down the battery in the regular one, and then time-wise, there is not much difference there, right? But then as for the EQS, you will actually get a significant slower charging session if you use the EcoCharge. And then I guess for the EQS part, the energy saving you go for EcoCharge versus regular is not that much. It's just 1% difference, so it's not that big of a deal. And that which means that I guess maybe for the EQS, I would probably not use EcoCharge. I think, just gut feeling, that EQS probably doesn't charge that aggressive. It's a freaking big battery, 113 kilowatt hour versus Taycan's 93 kilowatt hour. Charging at 200 kilowatt is roughly slightly less than 2C. So yeah, what are we looking at now? I charge a little bit longer here just to show you what happens. Yeah, I also go a little bit past, but you can see here, in the case where you want to go to 100% in Taycan, then the EcoCharge and the regular is more or less the same, whereas, okay, there, the EQS finished. So yeah, but is this the new scandal from the German car industry, that by default you fry the battery unless you turn on the EcoCharge? Well, I'm not the one to say anything there. I'm not the one to throw any stones here, but I mean, we just have to understand that fast charging does hurt the battery, regardless of what car it is, regardless of if we are even using the EcoCharge. Because ideally, I think you want to just slow charge it at 0.1C. Then it's healthy for the battery, right? As long as the temperature rises and the C rating is high, then it's unhealthy for the battery. But I think instead, I want to look at this way instead. Many German car manufacturers, you can simply not go to 100%. There is a top buffer. So if you think you're charging to 100%, you're actually charging only to 96%. Right? So the German car industry is already protecting the users. Whereas, for example, Tesla and Leaf and Ampere E, I don't remember other cars, but there are many cars where when you go to 100%, you actually go to 100%. But then those cars, you can also set the charge limit like Tesla. So then what about Tesla? When you allow the user to go to 100%, and some people actually charge to 100%, is that frying the battery? Is that another scandal where you allow people to purposely destroy the battery faster? No, I think the charge limit on Tesla is kind of similar to the EcoCharge. Is that you can charge faster when you need to, or you can charge slower if you want to conserve the battery. Just like you can set charge limit to 80% or 90%. But okay, I'm going to show some more stuff here. So here I plotted in the EcoCharge, and you see that it goes very, very flat, 100 kilowatt all the way until, well, actually, well, it's a bigger battery than the well, this one's the overheating one, okay, whatever. But yeah, just show you that it goes very, very flat until 80%. Wow, that's massive. But let's look at the graph here. This is the interesting part. So you see here, as expected, look, until 80%, and then it pretty much follows the regular charging session, slightly higher, but that could just be slight variation, I'm not sure. Whereas the Taycan, on the other, the Porsche, you see, the Porsche is charging a lot more aggressive here versus this one, the regular session. It kind of follows a little bit-ish, right? But then the Porsche passed 80%. Then actually the EcoCharge is faster, and that's probably why when you want to go to 90%, then it doesn't differ that much. And then actually you see here that the regular, well, okay, it just says Audi e-tron GT, but it's basically the same battery. then this one takes a quite big hit, whereas this one actually gets a little jump. And that big difference here is probably why when you want to go to 90%, then the Porsche, no big deal. But of course, if you want to quickly top up to, let's say, 60% or even, yeah, I guess before that dip, 80%, yeah. If you want to go to 80%, then the regular charging speed, charging is a lot faster. But then, you know, you have to also look at the practical here. Can you actually finish eating before the car reaches 80%, or doesn't it matter? Maybe you might as well go for the EcoCharge, right, on the Porsche. Yeah, so now you guys have seen it. What do you guys think, huh? Is this a useful feature? Should we get this in Tesla and other car manufacturers also? Because, for example, the BMW i4 is also charging blistering fast, but how healthy is it for the battery? Okay, it's probably not going to kill the battery. It's not going to catch fire or anything, but maybe you're putting a little bit extra stress on the battery. For example, what about fat e-tron owners? We have lots of fat e-tron owners in Norway. They always brag about fast charging speed, 150 kilowatt all the way to around 80% or 70%, depending on how early you start the charging session. But how healthy is it for the battery? Eventually, I'm going to do some degradation test on the fat e-tron. I can do that with Avilo. And we can see how much the battery has degraded, especially for those people who have been using fat e-tron and fast charge a lot. Because in theory, charging at 1.5 C on the fat e-tron until 80% should hurt the battery, or at least the battery should be quite hot also in order to receive that one. And we've seen in Tesla that the classic Model 3, the one before heat pump, the one that I used to own, you know, MC Hammer, it had some significant degradation after just 2 years and 80,000 kilometers. So maybe if fat e-tron owners would have an option to limit to, let's say, 100, maybe e-tron 55, limited to, let's say, 100 kilowatt, 120 kilowatt until 80%, would you guys actually use that feature? Because many people, many fat e-tron owners, they already brag about that the car charges so fast that they usually don't have time to eat or do whatever until the car is at 100% even. Yeah. So anyway, I think that's going to be it for now. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, thank you for watching and talk to you later.